This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. But first comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome, you are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 1 in the National Football League. And this one here was a dandy. This one I knew was going to be worth the price of admission. So much so that I made this game my in the lab room game of the week. That's right. NFC South, family business, Atlanta Falcons protecting the dome at home versus the New Orleans Saints. And this one was huge with playoff implications. You knew this is going to loom large later on down the line. And every year it seems like these two teams play each other really tough. Okay, last year, this very same game was played up in New Orleans, and it came down to the wire just like this game did. The year before that, they played another game in New Orleans that came down to the wire. Last year, when the Falcons weren't that good, this game came down to the wire. A mistake made by Matt Ryan in the red zone, or excuse me, believe it was a fumble by one of the Falcon receivers in the red zone, cost them that game. This game always comes down to the wire. These two teams know each other extremely well. That's why it's family business, because these two teams know each other well. So let's get into this thriller that was Atlanta hosting the New Orleans Saints. So first quarter, Saints solid opening drive, 32-yard catch for Brandon Cooks. He was phenomenal in his NFL debut, but a legal hands to the face penalty by Zach Strief brought this drive to a screeching halt. Saints had to settle for a field goal. It's 3-0 New Orleans early on in this game. Robert Alford with a key knockaway for the Atlanta Falcons to stop the Saints on another drive from getting into the end zone. Once again, Saints having to settle for a field goal. So it's now 6-0 New Orleans in this game. Keep in mind that these are huge plays in the game by the Atlanta Falcons and the Saints, both, because if one of these possessions turns into a touchdown, this probably is a different outcome in this football game. Remember, you know the mantra, you know the motto, field goals don't win games, touchdowns do. If either one of those drives ends in pay dirt for the Saints, this is probably a different outcome in this football game. So 6-0 in this game, Saints leading. Beautifully executed wide receiver screen to Julio Jones. However, he is stripped of the football by Jarius Byrd, and as he's trying to get into the end zone, about 4 yards out, ball trickles into the end zone. It's recovered by the Saints. That's why they brought Jarius Byrd here, because he makes plays on the football, whether he's picking it off or popping it out. He's always around the football, and he always makes things happen. Big play for the Saints, keeping the Falcons out of the end zone. So that ends the first quarter. Saints up 6-0. We move on to the second quarter. Saints used that fumble recovery to go 80 yards, and Brandon Cooks spearheaded this drive as he continued to pick apart this Atlanta Falcons secondary. as Kyrie Robinson caps off the drive with a 2-yard touchdown run. It's now 13-0. At this point, if you're a Falcons fan, you're getting worried because you're in the danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. This is where you don't want to be, especially against a team like the Saints, who you know can rev it up and score 35 points with no problem. You don't want to get into a situation where you fall too far behind, find yourself digging yourself up out of a hole. You just don't want to do that. Not against this type of team. So this next possession, it was going to be important for the Atlanta Falcons. They needed to get something on the board, and that they did. Falcons embarked on a 14-play, 100-yard drive, and it was 100 yards because of all the penalties. This Falcons team, they tried their hardest to not have this drive be successful, but Matt Ryan would not allow them to be denied on this possession. And Roddy White catches a back shoulder fade, beautifully placed football by Matt Ryan. Now, he pushed off. He got away with a pass interference on that play. He pushed off on the defender. Nonetheless, wasn't called touchdown. And a couple of big plays on that drive. Devin Hester for 35. And on 3rd and 12, the young fella, Devontae Freeman, gets a huge catch and run on the sidelines and gets 13 on 3rd and 12 to extend the drive and help them get in the end zone. So a lot of things happened on that drive that needed to happen for them to get in the end zone, and it did. Falcons cut the lead to 13-7. Brandon Cooks continues to shred this Falcons defense. Touchdown grab right before the half. 20-7 now. Saints are on top. Brandon Cooks' first career NFL touchdown, and he had himself a whale of a game. He's going to be a problem. I tried to forewarn everybody. No one wanted to listen. This kid's going to be special. It's 20-7, but the Falcons, they don't allow themselves to feel bad about what just happened. They take nothing for granted, okay? They get points before the half. They've got a little bit of time left. They go out, 2 big completions, the biggest being to Roddy White. He goes up, climbs the ladder, pulls the football down. They're able to ice a timeout, get down there, get a field goal off right before the half to cut this lead 20-10 at the half. That was a huge play, huge momentum boost going into the halftime break for the Falcons to get something on the board. And the reason that was so big was because they got the football after halftime, and with the momentum that they gained going into the break, they brought it out of the gate. And let's talk about that great opening drive of the second half. Falcons moved the football methodically down the field, cap it off with a 2-yard Levine Toilolo touchdown grab. It is now 20-17. Saints clinging to a 3-point lead. This, to me, and Matt Ryan said the drive after the half was the biggest point in the game. And he may be right, but to me, the biggest point in the game was this next drive by the Saints. Saints attempt to answer that touchdown drive of the Falcons with one of their own as they move the ball back down the field. Big hookup from Breeze to Colson to get down into the Atlanta Falcons territory. However, Drew Brees is picked off by Robert McClain in the end zone. That was a humongous play in this game. If the Saints get anything on that drive, and they were moving the ball so well, I don't see how they don't get in the end zone and get another touchdown. I just don't. But even if they were to kick a field goal there, and you know, things change, but we see how the score ended up. If they were to get something out of that possession, you got to think that they still win this game. But if they were to get a touchdown there, they definitely win this game, because that would have been backbreaking to the Falcons, who were gaining all this momentum and all this steam. To have that derailed with a touchdown, boom, right in your face, that would have stopped them dead in their tracks. But instead, the momentum kept snowballing. It kept building because this interception gave them more life. After scoring 10 unanswered points to cut this lead to 3, now you get this interception in the end zone. You're feeling really good about yourself if you're the Atlanta Falcons. And Antone Smith explodes for a 54-yard catch and run on a dump off from Matt Ryan. And you want to tell you what? Antone Smith is slippery. He's one of the most slippery backs. You've seen this all preseason long. He takes these huge strides. He's deceptively fast. And if you do not get both arms around this kid, he's going to slide off of your tackles and he's going to jolt his way into the end zone. This kid is electric. He's got speed, and he's making things happen for this Atlanta Falcons football team. He gets in the end zone, gives the Falcons their first lead in this game at 24-20. Now the Saints are on their heels. Now they got to respond. That ends the third quarter. As we move to the fourth quarter, Falcons are now in front, 24-20. Saints respond with a balanced drive. Drew Brees, 4 of 5 for 45 yards. Mark Ingram doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this drive on the ground as a 3-yard touchdown run caps off this drive by Mark Ingram, and the Saints reassume the lead at 27-24. Falcons come back with a potent 94-yard drive capped off by a beautiful, nifty Jaquiz Rogers 17-yard run. He dips, he darts, he starts, he stops, and he gets into the end zone. What a gorgeous run by Jaquiz Rogers. The Falcons have a lot of weapons on the offensive side of football. I've already talked about 3 bats impacting this game greatly. Talked about the young fella Devontae Freeman, Jaquiz Rogers with a beautiful play to get in the end zone. And I talked about Antone Smith catching it and running it from 54 yards out. They have a slew of bats that can get you in a multitude of ways, and they used every single one of them in this game. They reassume the lead through the Atlanta Falcons at 31-27. Then the Saints say, hey, not so fast, Grasshopper. They come back with a touchdown of their own, punctuated by a Mark Ingram 2-yard touchdown. But the thing I said at home, and I'm pretty sure all you Saints fans said the exact same thing. You scored too fast. There was 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock when Mark Ingram crossed the goal line. I said, hey, 1 timeout and 1 minute and 20 seconds left. You scored too fast. You left way too much time for Matty Ice. Matty Ice, yeah. Nothing's colder than ice. Matty Ice. You knew what he was about to do when he got that football. You knew what he was about to do. You were just hoping he didn't break your heart in regulation. You were hoping to at least get an opportunity to go to overtime. And you got that wish granted as he moved the team down the field, got them into field goal range as you knew he was going to do. And you knew Matt Bryant was going to knock it home. You knew he was going to knock it down. So we go to overtime, tied at 34 apiece. And the Saints win the toss, and you're thinking to yourself, all right, we got to score a touchdown. Field goal isn't going to do us any good here because if we give the Falcons back the football, they might just go down the field and score a touchdown and beat us. Let's just end the game now and give them an opportunity to get the football in their hands. So Drew Brees starts to move the team down the field, and just when you thought it was safe, Marcus Colston catches the football and is stripped of that football by William Moore. What a great play coming from behind, getting that football out. It's on the ground, it's loose, it's scooped up by the Falcons. And you knew, once that happened, it was only a formality. They were already in field goal range. I didn't really like the play selection after the fumble. They really were conservative, looking to just run the football. Hey, why not complete a pass? Why not get a little closer? But because you have such a really good field goal kicker in Matt Bryant, you really didn't need to get any closer, and they didn't. And so Matt Bryant comes onto the field, knocks it home. Game, set, match. Everybody drive home safely as the Atlanta Falcons come back from 13 down in this game. Once down 20-7 in this game. Rally back and win 37-34 in the most entertaining game of week number 1. That's how you do it. If you are the Atlanta Falcons, it's going to take a lot of those type of victories for you to get back to the postseason where you want to go. This is a tough division, and that was a tough win. Big time at home. Had to have it, and you got it. Good job if you are the Atlanta Falcons. If you're the Saints, you let one slip through your fingers, man. Too many mistakes. That Drew Brees interception in the end zone, the missed opportunities to score touchdowns, had to settle for 2 field goals, and that back-breaking Marquise Colston fumble in overtime sealed the deal. You had this game and you let it slip through your fingers. It's all good. You know you can beat these guys, but you just let one get away. You almost had a chance to put some house money in your pocket. Now, you got to make sure when these boys come to your place, later down the line, you take care of business. So Saints lead the game 0-1. Falcons lead the game 1-0. That's going to do it for the game of the week here in the Lab Room. Falcons hosting the New Orleans Saints. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. Come back and join me as I've got a few more games to break down in week number 1 of the National Football League. See you in a bit.